Hey everybody, thanks again for tuning into Spreeisms, my vlog all about mental health and finding ways to protect your peace. I'm Kirsten Spreewell, aka Spree, your resident therapist, and on this episode we are discussing white savior syndrome and especially how this affects all of us during this time. So let's just get into it. So what exactly is the white savior syndrome or the white savior complex? It's basically when a white person or a group of white people, go out and provide service or aid or charity or mission work to a group or a organization for black people or non-white people in any way. And it really comes off in a self-serving way where these white people feel that they know exactly what is best, that they are the person to really come and save everybody and to make everything better. And what happens is that it really perpetuates the thought process that the people who you are trying to empower are actually powerless by coming in and stating or feeling or understating that you are the person that's going to come fix it all, or that the work hasn't been done before you and won't be done after you. So this is some really interesting conversation to have around what is going on in society today and what's going on with the Black Lives Matter movement, and all of these things. It's timeless, it's ageless, it's been going on forever, and it will continue to go on. But let's have this conversation, especially around how black people and people of color can really address this phenomenon. So one of the first issues that I want to discuss around white savior syndrome is really that it continues to minimize the voices and erase the voices of black people, right? You have white people, even white funders, who are overshadowing the movement by making themselves the face of the movement. So it is important for us to maintain our voice, to tell our own stories, to take control of the dialogue and maintain control of the dialogue throughout this time and moving forward, because as we allow people to continue to tell our stories or to take the mic and really be up in there for a photo op or be at the protest for their Instagram, as we continue to allow this type of behavior, it will minimize the movement, it will minimize the discussions, and really it will minimize the organizers and the people who are really doing the work. And it also just minimizes our true story and the real things that we actually go through as a black people to allow somebody to be in this space, to occupy our space just for a photo op. We really need to vet the people who are funding the organizations and vet the people who are speaking or wanting to speak on our behalf. They really shouldn't even have the mic. The only people really who should have the mic and be the face of the movement, in my perspective, is really black people, because that's how we rebuild Tulsa. That's how we rebuild the economic power that we have the ability to really have. Another issue that presents itself with the white savior syndrome, and often I've been hearing a lot about hiring women of color, hiring people of color, hiring, when really we have our own businesses that we can start or already have started. We need to be really having our own businesses and not working for other people, because working for other people, especially white white systems working for white people is going to continue to perpetuate us being a victim of their system. So if we can remove ourselves from their system, defund their system, then we can really be self-sufficient the way that we naturally are, right? And so when we talk about hiring into these corporations that still perpetuate the system where there is still a ceiling, it is really the white savior syndrome, where I'm going to take care of you and you sit here and come work for me, rather than actually really empowering Black people, Black business women, Black businessmen, really empowering. So it would be about funding, and funding our businesses, not taking opportunities away from us consistently. There's so many, whether it's redlining, whether we just talk about how difficult it is to actually get a business loan as a Black person. When we talk about when it's a person who has the actual plug, right, the nepotism piece of all of this that happens, or even just being white, then you get a pat on the back, hey, come right in, where how many doors do we have to knock down to even get a similar opportunity? So for us to really maintain and elevate the level of self-sufficiency that we have as a people, we really have to start getting the economic opportunities that other people are getting. And I say other people because Black people are last in line oftentimes for those opportunities, and so everybody else gets them before we get them. So not only white people, but the others need to also make way for us to have those economic opportunities as well. Next thing, talking about allies and allyship. A true ally will educate themselves. A true ally will do the Googles and the YouTubes and hit up their local library to do the research, to really wrap their head around what has been going on when they've been under a rock this whole time, right? A true ally will not put that burden on you to come and coddle them, right, and help them see what's been going on and teach them what they should read and all of these different things, right? A true ally will do the work of using their skills, their privilege, whatever that looks like, to add value to the movement, rather than using this as a journey to explore, when this is something that we can't just clock out of and decide to go back to normal life. This isn't something that we can just decide, oh, this isn't the path that I'm going to walk along, and I found a different path. So a true ally will not engage selfishly and self-servingly like that, right? If they really believe in the inherent truth that Black lives do matter, and they matter enough to be fought for, and they matter enough to be spoken up for and on behalf of. So allies really just need to educate themselves the way that we have had to educate ourselves on our own behalf, because due to systematic racism, our history is not in the history books, right? We have this very Eurocentric public school education, even private school. I went to private school for high school, and there is still not that. Okay, so we have to spend a lot of time discovering, unlearning, and relearning, and so you're gonna have to take that journey on your own as well, because we have. And so once you get yourself together, then you can come and add value to the movement. But we have already given enough of ourselves, enough of our energy, and really we need to be working on unifying with us. The next thing that I want to talk about is really being authentic as well. Being authentic versus the pandering to be on Black people's good side, which has been sickening for me to see. So I know that it's sickening for other people to see as well. We don't need that. We don't need that right now. And so it is really important for us to check our friends. Let's, these people who come up with these great ideas because it's a hot topic. We need to check that energy. That's not the type of energy that we really need to be tapping into. We really need to be providing authentic spaces for Black healing, authentic spaces for Black voices, authentic spaces for Black art, and for Black progression and for Black excellence. And so if you want to be an ally, that's all really that you need to be doing, is providing spaces. And not that we don't create our own spaces, right? But these are things that allies can do, that we can allow. But there's certain things that we should not be allowing, and the pandering and the kente cloths and the I can go on, right? But all of these different things you're missing the mark. And so it's really just time to be authentic. Go on your path, learn, read some books, do all of these things, and then identify really how you can add value. Because even us as Black people are not divided, we're unified, but some of us are still trying to identify what our role is in this revolution. And it really just needs to be of value, rather than all of the pandering and the attention-seeking behavior. Is really low-level energy, and it does not add value to this movement. Another thing that I will say, and I am gonna drop a name on this one because it's just a very prime example. In addition to being authentic, we need to hold people accountable, which in the Twitterverse I think we do very well. But then in real life, like, they just get so many passes. But I'm not gonna say a name actually. But when I go on to Instagram and see clothing brands have like flooding the timeline of excuses. Okay, now I'm gonna address this t-shirt that we put out in 2016. Okay, now I'm gonna address this this Indian headband that we put out in 2018. Okay, all of that is unnecessary. What we need to be doing is being accountable and holding people accountable versus being defensive when you miss the mark, versus giving us excuses and a list of intents, because we know good intent, the road to hell is paved with good intentions, right? We know that you have racism ingrained in everything that you do. We don't need 30 posts in one day about why you did what you did and what you thought about it at the time and how you're gonna do better moving forward. Just be accountable. And so all of these people, I get it, you make mistakes, you learn. It's better to, come out and say something and address it than to not say anything at all. Yes, but at the same time, we cannot let certain things slide. And we do need to be holding people accountable. And if you really are an ally and you really want to get on this train all of a sudden, then it is important to hold yourself accountable for the things that you have done in the past. The tweets you put out, the missteps, the racist t-shirts that you put out in 2014. Just be accountable for those things. And identify how you can add value to the movement. Because excuses, tears, which I've experienced just this past week. You know, white women tears, you don't get credit for that. You get credit for what value you add to the movement. And so, you know, all of these things we can continue to go on about, and we can continue to let keep happening, but it is going to continue to perpetuate the negative images of us, or just all of these things that take place when we allow people to kind of act like they are saving us or swoop in, all of these things that happen, right? And so I just wanted to speak on some of these things and really address it head on, because I believe this is the most progressive way to address what's going on right now, and really to address anything is by going straight through it rather than around it. And so I don't really have anything else to add to this video, but I would love to hear the feedback. I would love to hear the comments. How are y'all feeling? Even if you disagree, because not all Black people agree on everything. So feel free to give feedback. What are your thoughts? Let's have dialogue. This is how we progress. This is how we move forward. This is how we heal. But until next time, I wish you all your version of success, happiness, and peace.